everyone. Welcome back to Making Waves. Look who I have with me today,
It's been a while.
the elusive Will.
I apologize. I've been absent, have life stuff getting in the way, but she
Funny,
knows. But
funny how that works.
yeah, so
Well, today we thought we would talk about some common cruise myths, if you will, and we'll have to see if we can bust the myths or not. So, Will, I'm going to kick it to you to start us off. What's the first cruise myth that comes to your mind?
the first myth is um, it's kind of I don't know. I'm kind of like I like our vacations to be just me and Katie. Of course, there's going to be a lot more people involved in a cruise. It's going to be people on a cruise. So one of the myths is you're going to be stuck with a certain group of people all the time, 24/7, and that's just simply not the case. You have privacy. We love balconies, um, and there are venues where you can have intimate settings. So that's one of the myths I think of. Like it's going to be people everywhere. It's going to be people in the bathroom with you. No, it's a lot of different options for you to have intimate moments with your significant other, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever.
Yeah, and I think it is what you make of it. If you love to be involved in lots of activities, where you're 24/7, you're out and about with
Mm,
people, you're playing the game shows and
yeah,
bingo, and you're going to, the musical shows, and you're out on the pool deck and you're
mm,
going to the parties, right? If that's what you want for
yeah,
your vacation, it is your vacation. That is exactly
yeah,
what you should do.
mm,
But if you really just want that alone time
yeah,
with the person or people that you're traveling with, you can do that too.
yeah.
So I think
And even in
that's
like the theaters, if you go to a show, luckily, if you go to a later show, you can find seats where you can just enjoy with that person and not, the whole crowd where it can just be you, so you can have interactions.
absolutely. So I think we can safely
Yeah,
say that myth is busted.
yeah.
All right, myth number two, or claim, maybe it's not a myth, claim number two when it comes to cruising is it's all about the buffet and you're eating buffet food all day long and you're just stuffing yourself to the gills and you're going to come back weighing, 10 pounds more than when you left. So
Well,
what do you think about that?
yeah, that's true. I mean, that you
That's true.
will weigh more. I will say that you will weigh a little bit more. But anyway, but yeah, the buffet in particular, yeah, you don't have to just go to the buffet. Um, Luckily, with celebrity in particular, because that's who we cruise with, there are different venues like Sushi 05 or um,
Rana.
Murano or Blue is an actual if you're aqua class. But even with Blue, I mean, I highly recommend aqua class just based on Blue. But yeah, there are different venues, and then you have Cafe Al Baccio and different little what's that health spa like
Yeah, the spa cafe.
spa cafe. Yeah, me in particular, I hate the buffet. It doesn't matter if it's on the cruise line. I just don't like the buffet. It's just because not saying I don't trust people, but I don't want to take a risk of you've heard people like just grabbing stuff and putting their hands on things, and that just disgusts me. So I was just like, I don't like the buffet.
That reminds me, I did make a video about things not to do on a cruise, so I'll link that up
Yeah,
here because
yeah,
that made me think of it.
yeah. It's just, yeah, I don't do buffet. We did it when we initially got on board, because that was the only thing that was open. We discovered that there were options available once
Had
we
we
got on
waited.
board. Had we waited, but um, that's the time I do the buffet when we get on board, and that's it. I mean, I
That
get coffee from the buffet, but that's it.
and that was, I mean, really truly on our last two cruises,
Yeah.
we only ate at the buffet once.
Mm,
It's just not something we enjoy as much as the other dining
yeah.
options. But if you like buffets, I mean, you
Mm,
can't beat it for convenience. I
yeah.
mean, but if you like buffets, you can eat in the buffet
Yeah.
every meal,
And
if
I
you
and
want to do
I
that.
like suggest the main dining room too, especially for I mean,
Yeah.
all three meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Um, and celebrity, I think they probably have the best food anyway. So
Looking
I
forward to it.
just
We haven't
wait.
tried
Yeah,
version
we
yet.
haven't. Yeah.
It's on my list.
So, but buffets, ugh. I'm sorry, it's just mm-mm.
So we can say that myth is busted.
Yeah.
All right. Cruise claim possible myth number 3.
Okay.
You're
Oh,
up.
it's my turn. Okay, going off of the buffet thing, one common myth is you'll have to share a table with randos or random people
Randos.
at dinner or lunch, and that's just a myth. You don't have to share. A lot of the time, if you ask um, the maître d' or whoever the host is walking you to your table, if you can have an intimate table just by yourself, they'll do it. And so most of the time, you won't have to sit with random people. It may be boring or may be awkward, or you try to search for words to
Right.
to have conversations. They don't like to put you in those situations, and you don't have to do it anyway. So,
I can
um,
kind of speak to that a little bit too. So, the first cruise I ever took, I won't give you the year to give away exactly how old I am, but it was a long time ago. It was before I knew Will,
and it wasn't that long
and it
ago.
was my son and myself went on a cruise. So back then, it was common practice that you did not have your own table. They didn't have any two
Yeah.
tops, right? So we sat with 2 other families. Uh, I have to say it was great because they were so strategic in how they did it. They sat you with families of kids who are around the same age as my son was at that time. And he loved it. We got to know them really well. And so we
Mhm.
actually kind of enjoyed that. Now my son is grown, right?
Mhm.
And so we enjoy, again, we kind of like each other, right? So we enjoy just spending time
Yeah.
together. And so now
She
I think,
said we kind of like each other. I would hope. But yeah, but that like going on, like not to cut you off, because like our first cruise, we had situations where they would put people
they would
with
ask you.
us. They would ask. In some cases, they were like, "Would you like to sit?" It was this one couple in particular. They were from the UK, and
Oh,
that was the one of the most enjoyable dinners. They were older, and
yes.
and I remember
They
the
were
lady. She
so
was like, "You're a
sweet.
left-handed." Like she couldn't believe it. I'm like, "Yeah, I'm ambidextrous." But she was, "Wow!" So we had many conversations with them, and after that dinner, I tried to actively search for them, and
They were
unfortunately, we
so
couldn't find them.
sweet.
So
And that was a situation where the dining room was really busy,
yeah.
and we could have waited
Mm-hmm.
to have our own table. And so they just asked, we can seat you now if you don't mind sitting with another couple, or you can wait for for
Mm-hmm.
your own table. We're like, sure. And that was the one time that
We
we
also
shared.
we also had shared a table with the older. Uh, they were older friends,
But their table was next to us. We weren't
but they were
sharing a
like
table.
right next to us, like
Yeah.
right next to us. So you couldn't help but to engage in
It was, yeah,
conversation.
2 older women
So
who were a hoot, by the
they were
way.
from New York, but they moved to Florida. They were so funny as well. So you sometimes have to open yourself up, even though I like to just be with Katie. You kind of have to do that sometimes because you'll get something you don't expect. And if you shut yourself off so many times, which sometimes I'm guilty of that, you miss, opportunities to connect with people and just have an enjoyable experience. So,
Yeah, both of those times. I mean, the one time we were physically at the same table as that older British couple who were just so
mhm.
nice and kind, and we got to learn about their travel
But it
experiences.
was a couple times going on that the older girlfriends,
Yes.
not actual girlfriends, but they've been knowing each other they were cruise buddies.
Yeah.
It was a couple nights where we looked for them, like, hey, there they are. Can we sit with them? And they were like, yeah, come on
Yeah.
over. And we sat with them, and
We sat near them.
yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I won't forget that experience.
Yeah. So while we do really like to just be by ourselves, that's an
Yeah,
example of
but
times
that
when
is a myth that you have to sit with other people. You don't have to.
you don't you definitely don't have
Yeah.
to, but if you're open to it, you might, really enjoy that experience.
Yeah.
So I think again that's a myth that we can bust, to
Mm,
say you never have to sit with someone else. You can't just be by yourselves if you'd like. All right, here's the next cruise claim that we can see if we can bust or not. And that is, on a cruise, you typically only stop at, a port city for a day. Of course, there's some exceptions to that, but in general, you're in a certain port city for a day and then you're on to the next one. And so the claim is that you really can't get a feel for the culture of where you're visiting because you're there for such a short amount of time. Do you have thoughts on that?
That's untrue. um, in particular, Bonaire. Lord have mercy. Um, it was a snorkeling tour, but I wanted to spend more time, even though we got a good grasp of what Bonaire was about. In San Juan, Puerto Rico, as well, we did a food and walking tour, which we've probably heard of. Um, I'm trying to think. Curacao as well. Nassau. You get a grasp of what the culture is like within the given time frame that you're there, but that's a myth that you know
We might disagree a little on this one. To me,
I'll say certain destinations.
yeah,
Yeah.
to me, I feel like there might be some truth to that, and so I think we can maybe partially bust it. So I was going to raise the same thing that you did. So in our cruise in 2019, one of the stops was San Juan, Puerto Rico, in San Juan, and we took a food and walking tour there. That was so good, and we really
Yeah.
did get to learn
I
about
had
not
dreams about that tour.
yeah,
It was
so
so
great.
great.
So we learned not only about the history of the country
Mm-hmm.
and of San Juan in particular, but we learned about the food and some of the history of the food, which was amazing. Now,
Political
on that
aspects.
one experience, which was a few hours, did we learn all we wanted to know? No, but what we did learn is that we loved
Mm-hmm.
everything we experienced in Old San Juan, and that's someplace we would love to go back
Mm-hmm.
to for a land vacation.
Yeah.
So to me, what I kind of like about cruising is you do get to experience a number of different countries and port cities in a short amount of time to kind of know which ones you really want to go
Mm-hmm.
back to and maybe spend some more time not on a cruise but
Yeah.
on a land vacation. So
Yeah. Bonaire is
yeah, Bonnie
definitely,
was one of them. Yeah.
and another one like we didn't spend. It seems like we didn't get a lot of information with St. Thomas. Like
Well, when we went to St. Thomas, we did our own thing.
it seems like it was like a lot of people just trying to sell you stuff, but no, I don't know what the culture is. And
Nassau's that way too.
it had a lot of beautiful. We went to um, Paradise Falls or Paradise Point,
Paradise Point.
and the views itself was spectacular, beautiful, Instagram worthy. But we really didn't get any kind of like I say, the culture is just.
And again, I think that's partially because we chose to just kind of do our own thing there. We
Mm,
didn't book either a private excursion or a ship sponsored excursion. So I think part of that's probably our,
yeah,
part of that's probably our fault.
maybe Nassau too. But like Katie was saying, it's like some of those experiences, like I don't have to go back to Nassau. I mean, nothing wrong with going there, but I don't have to go there. I'm not looking forward to it. Yeah, Nassau is it's a beautiful place. Everywhere in the Caribbean is beautiful, so all of it is a blessing. But there are destinations where I'm like, I want to go back to Aruba. Pretty much at ABCs, I want to go back. So
yeah, agreed. So I think that while there's probably some truth to that claim, I think cruising offers you a taste of it so you know what you definitely want to go back and see more of.
yeah,
So, partially busted.
yeah. Next, one of the myths is you have to win the lottery or be extremely wealthy to go on a cruise.
It's beginning to be more and more like that.
Thoughts?
No, I'm kidding. Cruises
It
have
is
gotten
getting
really expensive.
yes,
but
yeah, there are some good cruise lines where it is very affordable. Um, Celebrity, the next cruise I want to go on is MSC, but you don't have to. You can save up. You have to put down a deposit usually, and if you book far out enough, you can have time to put your money together, save up, where and it doesn't cause a burden to go on a cruise. Like so, it's not going somewhere like I want to go to Switzerland or Italy or those seem to cost way more than a cruise. If you want to go to Europe or something, just with the airfare and we have to board our dogs And speaking of, that's expensive too.
That's almost
Boarding dogs
it's
is
half the cost of the cruise.
yeah.
It's just to board the dogs.
So our flights was less than boarding the dogs. But anyway, you don't need a lot. Like I know Carnival is right there. Royal Caribbean
MSC is pretty
MSC
affordable.
is pretty affordable,
Yeah.
and it seems like you get great value for what you pay.
Well, if you think about it, right, on a lot of cruises, you're visiting more than one country.
Mm,
You've got all of your food paid for. Of course, if you want to do specialty dining, that costs extra, but you don't have to.
no.
And I've seen some cruise deals where it's like anywhere from 100 to 150 per night. Like you can really get some. You have to watch for them, but you can find some
Mm,
good deals. And where are you going to get really good quality food?
mm,
Nice accommodations,
yeah.
plus multiple destinations that you want to visit. So
Mm,
to me, I think overall it is pretty economical. And as Will said, you can put usually it's around a $500 deposit down. If you book far enough out, you can then save your money up and you
mm,
just have to pay off the balance.
yeah.
I think it's 75 days
And it gives you
for a
time to
cruise.
save up for excursions, or if you want to do like Katie did the glass blowing, you want to do little activities. You have enough time to put your money towards whatever you want to accomplish. So it is affordable. I wish it was pre-COVID because
Yeah,
those prices were just.
we're great. Those were
And now
great.
it seems like people are discovering cruises, so the cruise lines know, so they're raising the premium, so because they know there's the demand for it.
Yeah,
So,
I feel like I price cruises at least twice a month. And just trying to, again, I'm a bargain hunter in
mm,
general. I really pains me to pay full price for anything. So I'm always going to look for those deals. And if you're patient and you do really do your research, you really can find
yeah,
some good deals
yeah.
if you're flexible on the cruise line and that type of
So see, I'm blessed to have because I don't have time for it. I'm just being, I don't want to. I do, but she's such a data-driven person and trying to find the best deals. She's a blessing, so I thank God.
thing. That's very sweet. All right, the next cruise claim possible myth, you'll love this one, is that cruising is only for old people.
That is so far from the truth. Celebrity was known to be a senior cruise line when we first went on our first itinerary. And when we got on board, I'm like, Katie, I don't see a lot of old. I mean, it was more older people than young, but at the same time, it was younger. And then this year,
Even
it
more so.
was it was not. I would say Holland America maybe,
Right,
but
right.
even them, because if I had the opportunity to sell on Holland America, I
Oh,
would do that too. So
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. It's funny because I feel like before I cruised, I had this opinion as well. And that's because I remember when I was a kid, my grandmother going on cruises.
Mm,
And so I just had always kind of attributed it to older people that when they retire, they go on cruises and they're up there, playing shuffleboard and
mm,
you know. So that was really my opinion too until I actually went on one. And my very first cruise was also on Celebrity, the one that my son and I went on. And at that time, Celebrity really was not known
yeah.
for younger people. But again, he found kids, as part of their kids program that he hung out with the whole cruise. I had envisioned he and I hanging out and having fun. Oh no.
Yeah.
Once he discovered the kids program,
It's over.
I was on my own pretty much. But and it's progressively gotten younger and younger each time we've
Mm.
gone. So I feel like that probably did used to be the case, but
But now, I
now,
mean, because you can't even say that because Disney has a cruise line, so
right.
like it's not just for older people.
So this last cruise myth, Will and I both had on our list, and
Mm,
that is that cruises are all about partying. You've
yes.
heard the term booze cruises before, right? So
Mm.
that's the myth. So what do you have to say about that?
That couldn't be farther from the truth. Of course, there are lines which you can accomplish that, and you can do it on each
Standing
line. But
line.
but at the same time, you don't have to. We actually went to a couple of lectures this last cruise,
We
um, How boring is that, right? But
But
no,
some
it
are
was
actually really
it
interesting.
was actually very interesting. And one was about
Stonehenge.
Stonehenge, and one was about the moon or something like that. So, yeah, you don't have to party all the time on cruises.
I mean, if that's what you want to do on your vacation, the opportunity is
Yeah.
there. You will find others who will who will join you in that
Mm-hmm.
endeavor.
Yeah.
Um, but again, we're not big drinkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're not about that life,
Yeah.
uh, and and we enjoy our cruise just as much as those who do. I also think that some shorter cruises, so you see some of those 2, 3,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes 4-day cruises. I think based on what I've heard, this is not on what I've personally experienced because I haven't gone on any of those shorter cruises, but I've heard that those do tend to be a little bit more of a party
Mm-hmm.
atmosphere. And so if you're looking to maybe avoid that, I'm not saying that you shouldn't book a shorter cruise, but maybe consider booking a longer cruise, a 6 night, 7 night, 8 night
Yeah.
cruise. And again, it's your vacation. If that's what you want to do, the opportunity is there. But if you are not into that,
It to me, it's that's like an age thing too. I think because we're older in life, we move past all of that. It's just like I don't want to be drunk and then not remember the experience that I had on this cruise. Like, and to each their own. Maybe you like doing that, but so I'm trying to gain everything I can to create memories. So
yeah.
yeah, I just not fun for me to just be vomited everywhere and
Yeah,
just no.
yeah, I mean, again, there's people who can do that
Yeah.
and they enjoy it. Like I said, you will definitely find camaraderie with others who enjoy that too. But again, research your cruise line too. Some cruise lines are more well known for that,
Mm,
but others it exists on every cruise
yeah.
line. Don't let me
Oh yeah.
misspeak. But some are more well
Yeah.
known for that than others.
Yeah.
And again, it's your vacation. You do what you want to do on
Yeah.
your
You
cruise.
want to get turned? Go ahead. Because it was people turned on our cruise. It's just like, wow, okay.
Yeah.
Have a good one, buddy.
Yeah.
So
But yeah, it is what you make of it. So I think we can bust
yeah.
that myth. So I think we managed to bust most of them, but it is your turn. What are some cruise myths that you've heard, or what are your opinions on the ones that we share? We'd love to know. So sound off down in the comments. And until next time, happy cruising.
Bye.